everybody. If you've ever been to Florida, you probably know that the manatee is one of our most recognizable animals. In the winter months, if you travel up to Homosassa Springs and Crystal River, you'll see quite a lot of them gathering in the springs there. So we went up there to check it out. Homosassa Springs is one of the old school Florida attractions. Of course, manatees and Native Americans have known about it for a long time. It wasn't until 1893 when the train came to Homosassa. It brought cargo, cedar, cypress, and fish. Nicknamed the Mullet Train, it also brought visitors. The fishbowl attraction was developed in the 1940s, allowing visitors to check out all the fish without getting wet. Just a few steps down the stairwell, and you are underwater surrounded by fish. I don't think it's as fun as actually getting in the water, but it's a great preview. Springs like this are great examples of the underground water sources that flow through the porous limestone of Florida. These systems are known as aquifers and provide access to fresh water. These springs also have some unique properties that help draw in the manatee. So these springs are 72 degrees year-round, which makes this a great place to be when it gets really cold. Manatees, as you guys know, not too fond of the cold water. So this is why you'll find manatees gathered in large numbers around Crystal River and Homosassa Springs during the winter. You can also find them migrating down into South Florida and the Florida Keys. When manatees don't find a warm place to go in the winter, they can be in serious trouble. When the temperature drops, they can go into cold shock, like these rescued manatees at SeaWorld of Florida. Here they can get strong and healthy again before being released back into the wild. Back here in the springs, manatees are hanging out, munching on seagrass. I think it's about time to get in the water. Hey, we're at American Pro Dive Center here, and we're about to go out in the water. It is almost 7 in the morning, and go see some manatees. Manatees are protected by the Endangered Species Act and the Marine Mammal Protection Act. Here in Crystal River, Florida, responsible tour operators like American Pro Dive Center will take guests out to experience manatees in their own world. Of course, there are strict rules and guidelines that everybody must follow to ensure that the manatees aren't harassed and both manatees and humans stay safe. We had a beautiful sunrise greeting us at the docks, but it was time to get our gear on and follow the boat down to the water. Once on board, we get another briefing just to make sure everybody knows what the rules are. We will be entering the manatee's world and thus practicing what we call passive observation. It's important that we do nothing to alter the manatee's natural behavior. Of course, wildlife viewing takes plenty of patience. After a little bit of searching, we found 2 manatees, a cow and her calf. It was time to put the mask and snorkel on and get in the water. The first thing I saw was the calf gliding around on the bottom. I was completely surprised by the mother when she appeared literally right under me. As the manatees glided away, I didn't follow. If they chose to come back my way, that would be great. Otherwise, I kind of checked out some other critters. There were some sheep's head searching for some food on the bottom. A soft-shelled turtle also made an appearance. Before I knew it, the manatees were coming back over for a visit. Manatees are mammals just like we are, so they have to go to the surface to breathe. Manatees are herbivores and spend almost 6 to 8 hours a day eating. The rest of the time, manatees often spend resting, up to 12 hours a day. It really seemed like they had accepted us as part of their environment, maybe another manatee or something else, but nothing to worry about. Manatees have a gestation period of about 12 months and tend to have a single calf every 2 to 5 years. The manatee mom and calf will communicate with squeals. Take a listen. We could hear some distinct squealing before the calf took off and met up with mom again. As manatees are mammals, they feed their young milk through mammary glands located right underneath the mom's pectoral flippers. Here we can see the calf nursing off of mom. Although calves are usually weaned by the end of their first year, they'll often remain with their mom for up to 2 years. Like most mammals, manatee calves need to learn how to survive by their mothers. This includes what to eat, migratory routes, and warm water refuges. Manatees really don't have any major predators, but they do face a lot of threats from humans. Fishing line can get wrapped around them, amputating flippers. Decreases in water quality can affect the seagrass beds they feed on. Almost all manatees have scars from their interactions with boats. You can see the prop scars on this manatee's back around Homosassa Springs. Manatees can be very difficult to see in the water. That's why it's so important to abide by manatee no-wake zones. And if you do find yourself in the water with a manatee, practice passive observation. You just might get closer than you think. This is an example of a snorkeler harassing a manatee with a GoPro, causing them to change their behavior. This type of activity actually violates the Marine Mammal Protection Act. Back in Crystal River, our experience with this mama manatee and her calf was coming to an end. Once the manatees were gone, we were given permission to free dive and got a chance to check out Jurassic Spring. On the bottom, if you held your hand out, you could feel the force of the water coming from the spring. As I'm finishing this video at the end of March 2017, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has just announced that they are downgrading the West Indian Manatee from endangered to threatened status. They currently estimate that there are 6,620 manatees in Florida waters, the third year they've been over 6,000. Some believe this new status will weaken the protections available to manatees, while others are celebrating this as a success for the species. The truth is probably somewhere in between. I do know that if we don't continue to protect our coastal systems, future generations will not get to have this experience. Hope you enjoyed our trip to Crystal River and visiting with some manatees. Hope you learned a little bit about manatees along the way as well. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe, and we'll see some more coming your way soon.